Hey troops, how's it going? Welcome to a new video. Welcome to Combat Ready HQ. I am talking today about how I think they should bring national service back for 16 to 18 year olds. So I've done a previous video on conscription and I just done a recent video on how AFC Harrogate is full. They finally got 100% capacity of recruits. So more 16, 17 year olds are looking to join the army. Recruitment looks like it's on its way up, which is obviously a great thing. It's a great career, we're low on numbers, and with what's going on in the world, we do need some form of defence. But we also have a lot of kids on the street, a lot of kids not sure what they want to do, and the military can add a lot of life and skills and experience to them. It's now law that you have to stay in education until you're 18, but why not for those that aren't really academic, don't want to go and sit in a classroom at college, are unsure what they want to do when they're older, go into the military. So instead of doing the 4-year commitment, which I think puts some people off, you do a 2-year national service. So you leave school at 16, and if you don't want to go to college, you then have to go into the military. It's going to boost numbers. It's also going to boost the amount of people we have in the country that are able to defend us if needed, okay? Because at the end of the 2 years, they can either go off and go and get a job somewhere, go to possibly college and then university then, they can go and travel, or what they could do is, what we might find is that there's a lot of people out there that think, actually, this is actually quite good. I want to make a career of this. Because there's most probably people in the world, in the UK, that don't want to join the army, but don't realise actually how good a career it could be and how much they may enjoy it and how good a soldier they may be. We may find some untapped, brilliant soldiers who have never thought about joining the military. So I think it will definitely instill a lot of discipline as well into sort of the younger generation. And it's going to give them a lot of life experience, and it's going to add a lot of skills. Just in those 2 years, you can learn so much. I remember going to the Army Foundation College Harrogate at 16, and even just after 6 weeks, a year, I was a completely different person. It gave me a lot more confidence. And also in those 2 years at Harrogate, you also can do education. So in that 2 years, make sure they do education so they still leave with some form of civilian qualifications. But I think it would really help boost numbers. And I know this is going to have a lot of comments and negative comments. But what you've got to remember as well, you cannot deploy until you're 18. So these won't be able to deploy, but you will have soldiers, your recruits, going through training regularly every year, 16, 17, turning 18. They may leave, but they will be fully trained to defend and be called up upon if needed. And like I said, it's also going to take the experiences they learn, the discipline they learn, the integrity they learn, the courage they learn from that military training. They are then going to go into some other job. Maybe it's corporate, maybe it's construction, and they're going to take all those core values and put them into those companies, which is then going to make those companies better as well. I think it's a really brilliant idea. I think a lot of you are most probably going to be very negative to this, but I think the government should definitely consider it. We've got a lot of issues with knife crime at the minute. We've got a lot of issues with just people getting arrested, a lot of people living on the streets. And that's including youngsters. They get into 16, 17, they don't have a home to go to, they don't have a job to go to. They're then going on benefits when they turn 18, which is costing the government and the country money. Okay, why not spend that money training them up? They get accommodation while in training and food completely free. Say after a year, once they've completed training, and then they go to a regiment for a year, or somewhere for a year, the training could be extended, but they could go to a regiment for a year, accommodation £70 a month approximately, food is cheap, not that it tastes good, but it's cheap. And then after that year, they either go, I actually want to stay, I want to continue, and what you could do is put them on a 2-year contract, so they do the minimum 4, and then at the end, and then, well, You don't put them on a 2-year contract. You keep them on what the army does. So you sign up, and then at the end of the 3-year point, you go, I want to sign off, and you leave at your 4-year. So they can go, I want to sign on. So they sign on, which would be for the 22 years. But then after 1 more year, they want to leave, and then they start resettlement, and then they leave after their 4th year. But I guarantee a lot of them would actually most probably want to stay on. And you're going to get a lot of kids off the street, and you're going to instill, like I said, all those core values. I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this. Try not to be too negative. I don't mind, put any comments you want. It actually doesn't bother me, but try and make it constructive. I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you in the comment section. But don't just throw out random comments that don't really actually mean anything or put digs at me. It really doesn't bother me, but I'd rather have constructive comments that I can respond to and other people can respond to. But I think national service for 16 to 18 year olds, so they join at 16 straight from school, they have to do 2 years, and then at the end of that 2 years they decide whether they stay on. If they decide to stay on, they can still sign off at the 3rd year, so they only do the 4 years that everyone else signs up for, so they leave on the 4th year, or they continue working their way through their career until they want to sign off. And remember, at 18 years old, if they decide to stay on, they're going to start building a military pension, one of, if not the best pension out there that you don't have to pay into. Joining at 16 as well, the pay is £25,200 a year, so they're going to be taking home £1,800 a month. So they're going to have loads of disposable income that they could put away to save for a house, buy themselves a nice car if they wanted to. It's more money they're going to be earning anywhere else at 16, 17 in majority of jobs that they're going to go into, and they're definitely not going to be earning that at college while they're working on the side. And like I said, it's going to build core values. You can chuck in education as well, maths, IT, English, sort of the main subjects that will, transition across to other jobs. They, chuck in some telecommunications for the comms work they do, so they walk away with qualifications. I definitely want to see if we can get this put forward. I think it's an absolute brilliant idea. But that's my thoughts. National service to be brought back in for 16 to 18 year olds, for all those that don't want to go to college. I'm not saying all 16 to 18 year olds. We obviously still need people to go to college. They've got careers, they've got aspirations. We've got other sort of job roles that need to be filled for the country to continue to turn over. But for those like me, I joined at 16, did not want to sit in a classroom, did not want to do anything like that. The army was for me. And I'm sure there's people out there who are just fed up of education. You're in school from like age 4 up until 16. Gets a bit tedious. Why not throw them in the military where they can learn a lot more that can transition into the real world? Please comment below with what your thoughts are. Like I said, keep them constructive. And yeah, I look forward to seeing your comments. Speak to you soon.